Barely 2 months after the release of 1.37, SCS comes out again to surprise us. Now we have public beta of 1.38, so let's go and check it out. Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to ATS. As always, when I check out these updates, I try to show them as pure as possible. So we have no mods in this profile, everything is vanilla. I even turned off NVIDIA Profile Inspector, so we have the original graphics from in-game settings. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. What do we have new in this update? Well, we have mainly a huge update when it comes to Las Vegas. That's where we'll be driving today. We'll be passing through, and yes, that is now an option. You can now actually pass through Vegas thanks to the highways that have built in. You can see all the gray areas here, those are all changes. So basically Las Vegas has been remade and I've heard very good things about it. We've also gotten some improvements in El Centro, not as good so far. Couple of new roads in Utah, in California, I think. New companies, but I think Las Vegas is the biggest change of them all. But also the truck stops, I believe, have been improved. So if we go and drive through here, it should be a bit more, I would say, idiot-friendly. More guidance along the way to tell you which way is the right way. You can see arrows right there telling you which way to go. Let's just pass through here because I just gassed up actually. I hope I don't hit any of these barriers. I think they also increased the length, the width of these entrances. So you're less likely to get into trouble with them. In some truck stops, there are also more trucks parked now. I think this might be one example. I'm not exactly sure which truck stops have been improved, but it's nice to see that SCS is continuing the improvement of the overall world. Improving textures, improving layouts, making things more realistic. So let's go and drive through, see what else we got, and enjoy the trip, guys. Now you might notice a bit more flickering. That unfortunately is not fixed still. If you have been watching my other videos, let's turn off the music here. If you have been watching my other videos, then you might know that I switched to NVIDIA Profile Inspector already. Doing the tweaks there because NVIDIA Profile Inspector has superior anti-aliasing compared to the in-game anti-aliasing. But now, as I mentioned, because I went back to the in-game anti-aliasing, you might notice a lot more flickering, a lot more jagged edges. So unfortunately, that means the anti-aliasing is still not good if you are relying on in-game settings. So you can expect that to be overall the same is what I see. I hope that still changes because we are still only in the public beta, very beginning stages, so still a lot of improvements might come into play, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. Anyway, you let me know if you notice any other new stuff. Is that new? I-15 northbound. I like those kinds of signs. So yeah, unfortunately anti-aliasing still not up to speed, but they did improve one part of the graphics. They added ambient occlusion, SSAO, as some of us might be more familiar with it. If you have played any of the recent AAA games, you probably encountered this feature at one point or another. Let me show you that one. So if you go to the graphics, there is now a new option here, screen space ambient occlusion, that's SSAO. So far, low, medium, high don't have very significant changes, but disabled and high, that can lead to something beautiful. Let me show you. So normally, you would have, I have a screenshot here. This would be SSAO that is off, And if I turn on the SSAO, comparing the low and the off and the high quality, you see that one. Do you notice the difference? I'll turn it off again. That's off, that's on. So majorly, you can see the shadows improving. The grass patches on the right side have more like shadows underneath them. You can see the corners of the walls in the building ahead have better shadows. So that's what SSAO does basically, better shading, for a lack of better term. I think that's as layman as it gets, and that one I can really understand. So we have SSAO now, which should improve the overall graphics quality, and we'll see if we notice any of that here. But yeah, it's a very welcome change, although personally I would have been happier if they improved the anti-aliasing instead. Because SSAO is nice, but it's not as noticeable. The flickering and jagged edges, on the other hand, they are a real immersion breaker. So I think in the next videos, I will probably keep on using NVIDIA Profile Inspector. Right now though, the ambient occlusion in-game seems to be better than the one in the NVIDIA Profile Inspector settings. And I'll post a link to the NVIDIA Profile Inspector tweaks if you haven't encountered that before. Beng and JH Trucker, and the guys on the RowX forums have been really experimenting on this, and they have almost locked down the best settings for it. So that's what I'm using mostly. It's just the ambient occlusion I think is still needs a bit of tweak, because I compared the NPI, NVIDIA Profile Inspector ambient occlusion versus the in-game ambient occlusion, SSAO, and the in-game one, for a change, is better. So I think we need to tweak a bit the NPI settings to match the in-game capabilities. Yeah, but yes, what you're seeing here, all in-game now. Does the flickering. Anyway, stop with the flickering. Let's continue with the other fixes. Other changes include automatic transmission improvements. I'm actually using... Sorry, I have to always go back to the screen here. If you go to controls, Real Automatic here has received an improvement, better shifting. Details on that have not been fully released yet, but makes more sense with the shifting now. And now the adaptive automatic transmission actually makes sense as well. I'm particularly interested in economy mode because that allows you to stay within the optimal rev range. So the transmission shifts when you get out of the optimal rev range. That's around the 1500 if you're revving up. But before, the main problem with it was it had a... Oh, I forgot the term. You guys probably know it. The push down feature? Push back? No, push down maybe. Push over. I can't remember. But the thing in the real trucks where there's like a switch in the pedal, in the accelerator, that allows you to get full power even if you're in economy mode. That's perfect for times when you are tackling a steep incline, for example. Before, here in game, that was simulated by going full throttle, stepping on the accelerator 100%. You will suddenly shift down and rev higher. But now, even if I do that, that doesn't happen. So it's more controlled, it's more natural. So now you can really drive in this adaptive automatic transmissions in a more, natural manner. So I'm going to play around with this more and test it out. But that should give me better fuel economy overall. Hopefully. We'll see. Slow down here a bit. Let's give a bit more space to that guy in front of us. There you go. Alright. What else is new? Well, aside from the new roads, aside from the remade areas, we'll go through that later. I think Las Vegas also received a new ambulance and fire truck in terms of AI vehicles. I have not seen them yet, but if you have, then let me know. And also with the roads, it's not only the existing roads, that have been improved. We also actually have new roads implemented now. Everyone knows that Idaho and Colorado are coming this year, hopefully. Idaho is imminent. I expect it to be coming in the next few weeks. Maybe along with 138 if we're lucky. And people have been actually flying, doing free cam developer mode to explore the areas, and they have actually seen many of the roads in Idaho and Colorado. I think even Boise in Idaho is already in game. So it's not in the map. If you just press M and you look at the map, you won't see it. But if you fly over there, it's actually there already. So that's one thing. If you want to spoil yourself, if you want to get a sneak peek of what the new DLCs have to offer, then that's one thing that you can check out. But for me personally, I would rather just stick with what's in game officially, and just explore Idaho and Colorado when they're finally out, because I'll get to see that anyway, and maybe there will still be changes, so I'm happy enough to stick with the existing areas for now. But that's just for you, in case you are curious about it. Okay. There's also been a redesign on the route advisor. I'm sure a lot of people will be happy with this one, especially for those of you who like living on the edge, and those of you who enjoy really maxing out your fuel before you gas up, like almost empty, for example here. So if I, for example, am needing to rest, I put a marker there. Now you can actually see here, next checkpoint distance is in 7 miles, that's 8 minutes from now. And then you have the entire trip distance and trip time still there. So it now gives you an idea of where your next waypoint is, how far it is, and how long it will be to take to get there. So that's very useful. And that's not only available in that point, that's actually also available in game. Although in game it's a bit more tricky, because if you look here, and I will pause the game. Oh man, perfect timing, this guy. Alright, let's stop here first. Also, you might have noticed, I'm not using any mods, but the truck sounds actually have not been bad at all. I can play with this. Probably not as good as Krishbom still, probably not as good as Z-Mod, but it's not bad. I have no complaints about it. Revving up, the rev range is very varied. You hear the truck struggling and changing gears. No cutting off sounds. I like it. I'm not sure if they fixed this when they actually released 137 way back, because the last time I checked this, it was still early 137. But now it's very nice. And that's actually one of the updates as well. They said they updated to Fmod 2.01.01. What that really means, I'm not sure. But update Fmod, 2 words coming together like that, I guess can only mean good things for the sounds. I actually was driving a while ago and passed through a level crossing. A train was crossing, so we had those level crossing sounds. But the train itself, the sounds of the train itself got really improved. So that's good. Oh yes, and I was going to show you the difference here. So you can see in the route advisor, you see the flag, the red flag, and it says Thursday 9 p.m. 446 miles, 8 hours from now. That's the destination. But if I pause the game, F1 or pause, you can actually click on that flag. I'm not sure if there's a hotkey for it yet, but if you click that flag, you instead get the next checkpoint info. Remember what we had in the map, where it was showing how far away your next checkpoint was? That's what this toggles between. Maybe there is a way, no, at the moment I don't think there is a way to show both at the same time. You have to choose, but it's going to be useful for when you're really running out of fuel. Some trucks have that number of miles left in the fuel tank. That's going to be very useful then. Strong crosswinds possible. And as always, I'm expecting that they added a couple of changes in the map, improved stuff here and there, sneaky updates all around. They usually do that. And with SSAO in place, better shading, better shadows, the cliff faces, the grass patches, and all the little things, they look much better now. So it's a very welcome change. But to be perfectly honest, I was hoping for more in the graphics department, because they mentioned that 138 will be a graphics update, like 137 is an audio update, 138 is a graphics update. So I was expecting more in the graphics department, more than just SSAO. I was really expecting more, well, much better anti-aliasing. So I think that's the weakest link in Truck Sim right now. The anti-aliasing is really poor. But thank goodness we have NVIDIA Profile Inspector for NVIDIA users out there, so we can force the anti-aliasing and get better results at the same or even better performance. Emergency parking only. I believe the signs have also been improved. It's not really part of the changelog, but I think I've read that New Mexico has gotten improved signages. That's probably thanks to Nat Vander. Right, we are crossing over to Nevada now, so we should be pretty close to the Las Vegas area. Probably take my thumbnail there. So yes, in terms of the graphics department, I am trying to observe if there is anything new. Aside from SSAO, I have not noticed anything yet. Have not noticed new skyboxes. I have not noticed new textures. Maybe new textures in the new remade areas. That's better, but like in new textures as a whole, I don't think so. New skyboxes, new lighting, no, nothing in that department either. So at this moment, really only SSAO is what I notice. It has improved in the graphics. Some people have reported getting better render distance. I was browsing through the Team Reforma Discord about this. I think Eblem took a look at it. Eblem is one of the main guys in Team Reforma. The guys behind Sierra Nevada, Mexico Extremo, Chihuahua. But he confirmed that the render distance is still the same. I think he verified it in the map editor or something. So render distance has not changed. Oh, here we are already. This is actually the beginning of Vegas. See that plane just flying around there. And we should be getting a treat of the, what do you call it? The strip with all the hotels and casinos. But the good thing is, because we don't really need to go to Vegas, we can go through it instead, which is a very welcome change. I tried to stay away from this map as much as possible before, because you would have to slow down to 30 miles per hour, because you'll have to enter the city and you have to go through all those stoplights, which is a nice sightseeing side trip, but if you're in a rush, it's not really the best place to be. Here we are. Now you can see all those. I'm sure you guys will recognize the buildings, especially if you're from around these parts. Beautiful. So you can see them, but you don't have to stop next to them anymore, which is very welcome. Let's maybe take a photo here later. This might be a nice thumbnail. I love the winding interchanges here, the flyovers. You can see that in the map as well. Very nice. And yes, of course, the textures here are all the latest. No complaints about the textures, just the shimmering bits due to poor anti-aliasing. But We'll see. Maybe that's still something in progress for 138. One can hope. We'll see how far we get there. Is that new? No, I don't think so. But that guy was surely taking his time on the fast lane. Yeah, this is very welcome. So we are passing through I-15, I think is where we are. I-15 South, yes, exactly. And no need to stop. And maybe it will be less temptation as well in getting into a casino and gambling. But I've never been hooked in gambling. Like, it's not a thing for me. Like, it's just a hassle for me. I'd rather play video games, which is, I guess, good for me. That's a very economical hobby. Playing video games is much cheaper than gambling, for sure. Much safer and much more productive as well, in my opinion. Slow down a bit here. Lovely. Oh, that lane is cutting off. Trying to admire the view. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate it. You can even notice, if you look closely enough there, you notice the different textures. Just very slightly, it's not very obvious. Different textured roads taking shape, taking effect between the old and the new areas of the map. So that's one thing that can also be attributed to the new textures. What else do we have? Oh yes, one of the good things, if you are a fan of color coordination, if you have a truck fleet and you would like to be coordinated in terms of the colors, let me show you that one. So let's go here and go to the vehicle. No, you know what, let's make it more realistic. I do have a truck here, W900. Let's go and upgrade this guy. So when you go to the upgrade screen, you go to the paint job option. It's a bit different now. The colors are no longer here in the middle, they're on the right side, and you see all these fancy buttons, which is pretty cool. So let's get one of the more complicated ones. For example, this one. So you know what, let's change it up. This one, for example. If you want a specific shade of red, for example, well, all the existing features are still there. Like if you want that, like, bright red, you want to store that, then pick a slot and then say save color as preset, and that gets stored. You have more options for the colors now. So many. Before it was only this one, no scroll bar. Now you have so many. But on top of that, there's actually an option to, so for example, I change it, I don't like it, I want to restore it. I bring back this color that I saved, apply it to the existing paint. That works. And before, when you had 4 colors like this, that means you have to store all 4. Store that, store this, store that, and store that. And then when you're configuring a different truck, then you apply each one separately, right? Now you don't have to do that anymore. You can actually, you have this color combination. You just press this one, save all colors as preset, and you get this 4 quadrants here. And you see all 4 stored like that. So you can actually apply that, for example, here, which has 4 colors as well. You just click that, assign, and it gets assigned the same pattern immediately. Now it might not look as nice as the other paint job, so it will still depend on the colors you choose. But at least that's a great feature. Very fast, very user-friendly, nice quality of life improvement right there. And then one more thing, this is one I really like. If you are trying to match it with a certain color that you saw on the web, it actually place RGB colors here. Red, green, blue levels. HSV, I think that's hue, saturation, and brightness. Why is it V and not B if it's B here? You tell me. I'm not very familiar with HSV. RGB is what I know, and the hex values you can also put in. Very web friendly. Yeah, so like if you want like the Clumsy blue, that's 336699. That's the Clumsy blue in some cases. Yeah, so I can do that now for my trucks, and I can like save that as a preset. I can use that here, change it, save that again, and so many options. So very user friendly, very welcome change. That one I have no complaints. Amazing stuff. Thank you, SCS, for that quality of life improvement. Right? And I think that's it for now. So next video, well, in terms of mod impact, I tried loading some mods. They failed. I think understandably I'll have to remove the map mods because a lot of map changes have happened. But I have not tested yet if like only graphics mods will work. So I do want the Project Next Gen photorealistic experience weather in here. But for the foreseeable episodes in the channel, we'll probably be driving with vanilla in the meantime, if we're going with ATS, just so we can stay tuned to the updates, what SCS really improves, and see how it improves them. So for now, I'll stick with in-game, probably in-game settings, graphic settings, even if they flicker more. Maybe SCS will still improve the anti-aliasing. So we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. Anyway, I think that's it for now. I think that's all the changes I've seen. There are also changes to Tobii eye tracking presets. I haven't tested that yet. I haven't installed my Tobii eye tracker in a while because it's not very compatible for my setup. With the mic in front of me, it gets confused. But yeah, I've heard feedback that Tobii users are really liking that new feature. I think you can have like presets of the settings and can switch to those presets at will. But I'm not the best person to ask. Right? So if you noticed any other changes, please let me know. Let's crowdsource this. Let me know in the comments and share that with everybody. If you like some of the features, if you don't like some of the features, let me know as well. I always love having discussions with you guys because I learn so much, and I'm happy to see the impact I have on you guys. Happy to see that you are getting involved in the game more and you are getting inspired, or that you are wanting to drive a truck. Things like that really mean a lot to me. So thank you for watching, thank you for the comments, and thanks for engaging and really being part of the community and part of the discussion. So looking forward to your comments. Hope you enjoyed this short video. I won't finish the trip anymore because some people just came here for the updates, but hope you enjoyed the trip nonetheless. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Catch you in the next episode. Clumsy Trucking.